Your 30s are hands down the weirdest age to ever be. Because yes, your 30s are young. Very young, in fact. However, you have crossed a certain threshold in life. And that threshold is basically where you're still very young, but at the same time, you are too old for a lot of shit. You at that age where teenagers and people in their early 20s look at you and be like, damn, you were born in the 1900s? But at the same time, somebody that's 40 plus looks at you like you a fucking baby. You also at that age where you're not old, but you start having old people complaints. A lot of new music sounds like garbage to you. You start saying shit like, why does everything need an app? Why do I have to make an account for this? Sometimes you still gotta remind yourself that you have to make your own doctor's appointments and that your mom ain't doing it for you no more. You're also at that age where you may be wondering why ain't nobody throwing no cookouts. Well, the reason why ain't nobody throwing no cookouts is because all you motherfuckers is wondering why ain't nobody throwing the cookouts. It's your responsibility now. You're also at that point where half your friends is married with kids, but the other half is still single and partying every weekend. You're also at that age where some of the people you went to high school with are starting to turn into the uncles and aunties on Facebook. And that shit weird because it's like, bro, why are you already at that point? You're also at that point where your children are starting to reach like serious ages. Like I know people that's my age, 32, with like 13-year-olds. But I will say this though, being in your 30s is a blessing. This shit is awesome. It's like your 20s, but with more money. It's a very weird point in life, man. But when you get here, you're gonna love it. And for those of us who are already there, I know you fucking with it, huh?
I agree fully, guys. I mean, looking at what he had to say is pretty awesome. I think your 30s are interesting, but before we get started on my thoughts on this, my name is Quan. Welcome to the Quan Bailey Show. We're back, guys. We took some time off, second day in a row uploading, so we're feeling pretty good, but this is an interesting video that I saw that went super viral, and the creator was saying that your 30s are weird. And it's weird because I'm 32 years old, and I feel like so many of my friends have now started the process of getting married. They started the process of like starting families. They've started that process of buying homes, which I'm like, how can you buy a home right now? Like, how do you have that money, right? But on the other side, it's my career's evolving. I've been able to save more. I've been able to do more. I'm not worried about paying bills month to month like I was in my 20s. Like, it's completely changed. And that for me happened in the last year because you start to understand how things work. The things they didn't teach us in elementary school and like grammar school and stuff like that in our younger years are kind of, you learn those things now. The things we should be learning in schools here in America, we don't learn. Like, we don't know about taxes. We don't know about saving money, growing our business, things like that, right? We don't know how to do those things. So by my early 30s, now I feel like I have a really good pulse on what's going on in the world around me. So that was really funny what he had to say, and I have to agree with him wholeheartedly. I mean, he's absolutely hilarious. What he said really resonated with me. And like, I went out recently. I'll give you guys some context. So about a year and a half ago, like 4 months ago, I became single for the first time in like 4.5, 5 years, right? I started going out last summer, summer 23, I'm out, meeting people, going out, and you notice there's like a bunch of people who go out all the time that are in their mid 30s, late 30s, early 40s, who you can tell have been going out since their early 20s. And I looked at that, and to be honest, I was like, I don't want that life for myself. Like, I don't want to be that person. All right. Well, we do have a second clip I want to show you guys. This one is a little bit more interesting from what I saw. This one's been going around the internet as well. It's how if I knew what I knew now about adulting. So let's get right into this one next.
Can the 24, 25, 26, 27, 28-year-olds just gather here real quick? Because when we first started college, gas was $1.98. How are y'all doing today? How are y'all doing? Your pocket's empty? Okay, I understand. Me too. We need to start a support group because we were sold a lie about adulthood. I was making $8.25 at minimum wage when I was like 18, 19 years old. Balling, eating lobster and pasta. I used to be able to go to the Dollar Tree and buy a carton of 12 perfectly fine, healthy eggs for one singular dollar. $5 is a whole meal. $20 the whole week and a bottle. I started making $10 an hour and was like, that was a year, I kid you not, I cannot make this up. That was a year that I bought everybody Christmas gifts for the first time. I was making $10 an hour. I said, what's the moves, man? What's up, man? It ain't nothing. Put the card down. My card clinked when it touched the table. I was on that type of time. I put $50 in my tank the other day and my gas light was still on. Like, we were sold a lie. My rent was like $500 something. Granted, was I paying it? No, but it was ensuite bath for everybody. It was brand new appliances, hardwood floors, like beautiful. You could get a shoebox for $1,200 and you're sharing it with a rat these days. You understand? Things cost more, but nobody's getting paid more. If anything, we're getting paid less. And I really thought I entered adulthood all willy-nilly like, man, it's easy. Y'all tripping. What? No. And I turn 26 next week. They talking about I'm getting off my parents' insurance. In this economy, y'all still have those Gregorian, Victorian rules about insurance in this economy? That's crazy.
I have to agree with her wholeheartedly there as well. So I'm a little older, right? I'm 32, like I told you guys earlier. But when I first moved out on my own, which would have been 2014, I was 22. Things were very different. I think my first apartment was a one-bedroom apartment, like not too far from like in the Albany Park area of Chicago. I think it was $825 a month. One bedroom, fully living by myself, front door, back door, private bathroom, bedroom, granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, awesome apartment. And that was like a bit much, but I was working as a personal trainer. I was making about 12 bucks an hour, but I also had a commission structure, so I was able to afford that. But now I feel like at 32, I couldn't find a place in like an area that I would want to live in for that price. And that's not saying people who live in those areas, I'm not talking crap about your area, but at this point in my life, I live with a roommate and I pay about $17.50. Now, no, I live in Marina Del Rey in California, but still, that's cheap for us. That's probably the lowest price I could find, because even in the same building that we live in, the 2 beds are going for $4,500 and up now. So like we have a great deal on what we have. And it's crazy because they always tell you growing up like, oh, how it's going to be, and you get so excited to grow up. You force yourself to grow up. You're excited. You can't wait to not be a kid anymore. And you get out here and you realize it's tough. But one of the main points she was making is inflation is real, guys. Inflation is serious. I mean, I remember with my 12 bucks an hour that I was making as a trainer, let's say I had a month where I didn't sell any training. I was working 40 hours a week, those checks weren't too bad. I think those checks were like $500-$600 or something like that. I mean, before taxes. I mean, they were like $500-$600 a week. I think after taxes, I was making like $1,000 a week, maybe $2,000 a month or something like that, if I remember correctly. And that $2,000 a month, I could pay my rent. I could go out every weekend and party and have fun. Now you go out, you step foot in a bar, it's $100. That just walking in the bar is $100. Because think about it like this, bro. You buy one drink, especially where I live. Like you go to like Santa Monica, you go out to a bar, it's $15-$20 a drink. A singular drink, bro. Bottles at the store, $30-$40. I saw they had Jack Daniels on sale one day for $25.99. On sale? That's on sale? You know what I mean? Like things have definitely changed. But I would say this, being in your 30s is absolutely amazing. Accepting the realities of our economy and where we are is part of growing up. I think we weren't really taught at least in my millennial generation, on how to take care of our finances and take care of ourselves, but what generation was. I think a lot of times we spend all this time complaining about what we have and what we don't have, and why we wish we had more, and the other generation had it easier because their money was worth more and they made more money in comparison, even adjusted for inflation. I get that, but we don't have a time machine. So to my generation, we got to stop complaining. Now, if you can make some content and do something with it, awesome. But at the end of the day, stop complaining. We're going to have to pay our bills eventually anyway. We're going to have to put ourselves out there anyway. We're going to have to make these things happen. Do I think I will ever own a home? Yes. Well, do I think it's going to take me into my mid-30s? Yes. Maybe even late 30s, early 40s? Yes. But that doesn't mean I won't have that. But one thing I do want to talk about that's positive about our generation is we travel, man. My generation is not about to sit and work till they're even 45 before they can go on a vacation. We going on vacation fresh out of college these days, man. And I think people should. If you can afford to go, especially with so many places being so cheap to spend the US dollar in, our economy may not be doing great, but the dollar is still relatively strong around the world. So if you can go Thailand, if you can go to Bali, if you can go to some of these places and experience life, a higher standard of life with the same amount of money, go check it out. I think our generation isn't going to wait till we're 60 and 70 years old. And if you're a little older than me, I think you should try to go do more things, because as we've seen the pensions fail. We've seen the retirement plans fail for people. We've seen all these long-term things that people are paying into not be there when they need them. Medicare, Medicaid, like all these different things have shifted and changed over the years. They're still around, but they're different, right? Social Security is completely jacked up. So we know that these things we're paying into probably won't be there when we're older. So I'm not saying don't pay into them, but I'm saying take the time to figure something out for yourself. This was such an interesting topic. As someone who's rebuilt my life now twice from zero, I will tell you, it is pretty daunting, the idea of having to pay like $500,000 for a house in like a random city in America. And then if you want to live in like some of the more desired locations, which are not necessarily better, but like coastal California, you're looking at a couple million base, and that's a small 1-bedroom bath apartment. I have a video that I found that we can definitely review. If you guys want the real estate video, let me know. Otherwise, I might just do it on my own. But there was a house that was like 384 square feet that sold for over $2 million. I mean, guys, we're getting ridiculous now. I mean, who's making enough money to afford a $2 million house that's 400 square feet? $2 million when I was a kid, I thought was going to buy me a castle, bro. I thought I was going to be King Quan out here. You know? But that's not the case. So, as I'm looking at this stuff, I just want you guys to know we're having fun. Let me know what you guys think of all this down below. How are you guys doing financially? How are you guys doing in your life? Let's talk about it down below. I appreciate it. Sorry for the mic quality, the sound quality if it's a little bit off. My mic's crapped out again, and something where I'm just going to have to invest and buy new ones. This channel's not quite monetized yet, so as I continue to make more content, I will and reinvest back into it. I'm probably just going to go spend some money on some mics in the next couple of weeks, but thank you for bearing with me, and if I can get them to work, you'll see them in the next video. So I appreciate and love you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We're growing, guys. Thank you for 22 or 23 subscribers at the time of this video, and let's keep this thing going, man. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, folks.